Before we get started, and I'm sorry that not everybody has a seat, I would ask that everyone stand and we'll have a moment of silence. Thank you. It's okay. All right. I get it. I'll ask you to do it. Okay, our first speaker, as I mentioned, is Mayor Bob Buckhorn. He's going to come up here and talk about all the things that the city has done to address the issue that we're facing. Mayor?
First of all, I'm sorry we have to be here on a night like this for this purpose, but I can tell you that we're not leaving until we catch this guy. You know, there are a few folks in the audience that you will recognize, some of whom are standing right here, many of whom are out there on the streets patrolling right now, and they've been there for almost 9 days, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have seen them. There's a lot of them that you haven't seen. But this area right now, for the men and women of the Tampa Police Department, this is personal. This is personal, and they're not going to stop until we catch this guy. Nobody comes into our house and does this. Not now, not ever. This is our streets. These are our neighborhoods. This is your community, and we are not going to let evil win this race. Not happening. And sometimes the only thing between good and evil are the men and women that you see right here. They're the ones on that barricade between you and the forces of evil and the forces of darkness that we have seen in the last 9 days. This is a great community. These are great neighborhoods. You are great neighbors. I have not been any prouder of what this community has done to stand up, to take back your streets, to say, not in my community, not now, not ever. Goodness is going to win this, not evil, and we're going to stand up. You've come together, you've rallied, you've taken care of some of these families here who have been ripped apart by this tragedy. You've stood strong. You're out there doing what we need you to do. We need you to turn those lights on. We need you to be visible. We need you to tell us what you see. Every little bit makes a difference. It doesn't matter how immaterial you think it is. We need you to call us and let us know what's going on. That's how we're going to catch this guy. Good neighbors, telling police officers, good police work, and we will hunt this son of a bitch down until we find him. I may not be allowed back at Edison Elementary. This is going to be a long journey. I can't tell you when this is going to end. But I can tell you this, we don't know what quit means. And we will be out here until we find this person. The city is active out there. You saw us out there today with our trucks cutting down every alley, every piece of shrubbery that was out of place. We have added over 1,000 street lights in the last year to Seminole Heights, 100 in southeast Seminole Heights. Our partners at TICO are helping us fix the ones that are broken right now. Our partners from all over the community, and Commissioner Les Miller is standing over there from the County Commission. Our partners in law enforcement. There is no light between us. It's us against whoever committed this crime. We need your help. We need you to continue to do what you're doing. We called this meeting because we wanted you to hear the facts as best we can tell you. There will be some things that we can't tell you. You recognize that. You understand that. But don't pay attention to the blogs and to the internet and to the social media. We want you to hear it from us, what we are able to tell you, what we are contemplating doing, what we are doing, and then what that path forward is. This two-way conversation is important. We can't rely on rumors. We can't rely on innuendo. We can't rely on the haters out there and the trolls on the internet. We've got to rely on each other. And I promise you, just like Irma, we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this and we're going to solve it. And this community will once again be that great part of our city that it was before these tragedies occurred. We can't replace those young people that were killed. We can't replace the hole in the lives of some of these families. But we can do this. We can make sure who did this pays and pays the ultimate price. And that's what we're committed to doing. So let me introduce you to somebody who's been a great partner for us moving forward. We can't do this without you. We can't do it without the neighborhood associations. Stan, come on up here. Stan is the outgoing president of the Southeast Seminole Heights Civic Association. He has helped to organize a lot of the neighborhood associations that have been here. He has responded to the family's needs. He has been the glue, along with a lot of you, in holding this community together and helping us help you. Let me give him the microphone for just a second, and then I'll come back and introduce Chief Dugan.
Thank you. It's a hard guy to follow. Benjamin Edward Mitchell, 22 years old, killed October 9th. Monica Caridad Hoffa, 32 years old, killed October 11th. Anthony Naboa, 20 years old, killed October 19th. These weren't just victims. These were our friends. These were our neighbors from our own community. Before we get started, I just want to take a minute to introduce and thank a few people in our community, and I want to recognize a few people in the audience. In the second row, we have Monica Hoffa's family. If you just want to raise your hand to see where they're at. Thank you. Midway back, we have Anthony Naboa's family. And I'm not sure, is anyone here from Benjamin's family? Yes, bless you. For those that don't know me, my name is Stan Lassiter, and I've been president for Southeast Seminole Heights now for almost 4 years. I've lived in this community for 25 years, and this is my home. Most of you in this audience right now, like me, have lived in this neighborhood long-term or possibly moved in recently. One of the things that I can say about, sorry, tell I don't do this often. One of the things that I can say about this community is we are a resilient community. We work together and we do come together. My biggest fear when I heard about this, these violent crimes, was people would look at Seminole Heights like they did when I first moved in 25 years ago, wondering why I came to this community, wondering why I live in this community. I can tell you why. It's because ever since this happened, I have been touched by my own board members with me sitting down here in the second row. I've been touched with associations throughout Seminole Heights, and many people don't know Seminole Heights is more than one neighborhood. We're not just Southeast Seminole Heights, we're Old Seminole Heights, South Seminole Heights, Hampton Terrace. There's so many parts of Seminole Heights. When this happened, every single association got in line with us. They stood with us, they walked with us, and they are here helping us rebuild and heal this neighborhood. Lastly, I just want to say what a great neighborhood we have. One of the things that really stood out when this happened was Every single neighborhood, every single neighbor in this neighborhood called, text, emailed to say, what can we do? We've raised with the City of Tampa Police Department, there's now over $25,000 for a reward. We're still fighting to get that number higher because I think the higher the number is, the more likely someone will be to come forward. We've actually had the Hampton Terrace Community Association get a church for the family for the funeral on Friday. We've had them donate a burial plot for their son so he could have a final resting place with dignity. We've had restaurants offer to donate and cater a luncheon for the family after the funeral. We've had neighbors come forward saying, we want to start meal trains. We want to bring food to these families. We've had people donate grocery. It's just incredible what a community this is, and I don't want this horrible, senseless act to shatter our community. And the only thing that I can say now is I've never been more proud to call Seminole Heights home. As the photo banner circulated last night on Facebook, it reminded me that we aren't just a community. We aren't just Southeast Seminole Heights like you hear on the news. We're not just greater Seminole Heights. We are a true community, and we are Seminole Heights. Thank you.
I don't think he needs any introduction. You've seen him out here 24/7 leading the men and women of the Tampa Police Department. He is a longtime cop. He's been with this department since the beginning. He is our interim chief now. Let me introduce you, Brian Dugan.
Thank you, Mayor. Hopefully you'll be clapping one day when we catch this person. You're going to find I'm not as eloquent as some of the other people up here. I'm just a cop. That's what I do for a living. First, I'd like to thank Mark Gallard. He's the principal of Edison, and he led us into his school immediately when we asked last week. So I really want to thank him for that. And that was a big deal for us. But the community has really come together. And what I wanted to do when we discussed getting everybody together, let's talk about this and tell you what's going on. I have tried to be very forthright with the media, with the community on everything that happens. And if you've had a chance to watch this, and it's a journey that we've gone along with these victims' families. And every time I do an interview and I'm asked about this, I mention them by name, because I want to make sure that people remember, Benjamin and Monica and Anthony. And I've had the chance to meet their families, and I want everyone in this room to think about them and their families, because that's what this is all about. Okay, these aren't, we had 3 murders in 10 days. Okay, 2 weeks ago tonight, Benjamin lost his life. Okay. I'm not trying to be dramatic. This is real. This isn't made for TV stuff. It's and the community coming together. It's been a phenomenal thing to see everybody here. This is great. So let me go through what we have and what we know. If you haven't heard already, we like I said, this started 2 weeks ago, and then 3 nights later, Monica lost her life. And then we had 8 days that went by, and poor Anthony lost his life. And that's where we stand. And I've tried to be very forthright with the media, very forthright with information. Normally, as police departments, we don't like to give a lot of information out to people. We're very tight-lipped when it comes to crimes. We have to maintain the investigative integrity, and we've tried to do that. But we also have told more information in these cases than we normally do, because it's about public safety, public awareness. And we need to put a stop to this. If we can get 3 things out of this tonight, it's to inform you, prevent another crime, and capture the person that did that. And here's how we're going to go about doing this. We need everybody to pay attention to what's going on in your neighborhood. When these type of incidents take place, we want to close the doors, close the curtains, and not look outside. And we are doing the exact opposite in this neighborhood. And the response that we have gotten from the neighborhoods has just been phenomenal, and I thank you for that. It's just incredible when I see the marches and people coming outside. We have given out 82 light bulbs to light up people's houses. If you need a porch light, you let us know tonight, we'll give you one. You know, and it's that important. These marches are so important, you know, because we don't know who this person is. That's the reality of it all. We know that we have 3 people that were murdered within a half a mile of each other within 10 days. They're all walking alone in the neighborhood, probably minding their own business, and Lord knows whoever is doing this. So what we need you to do is pay attention to what's going on in your neighborhood. Everybody at this point is a suspect, okay? Everyone is a suspect. If you're out there walking alone, and let me tell you something, this pains me to stand up here and say this as a cop. This pains me to tell you that if you're out there walking alone, that you're either a suspect or a potential victim. And that's where we stand. That's not drama. You think I like saying that? That's not what our city stands for. But that's where we're at. Our back is up against the wall. We need to pay attention. If you think it's suspicious, it's suspicious. Follow your instincts. How many times have you done something and you go, oh, I knew not to do that? You know, you backfired, you backed into another car or whatever. You knew not to do it, but you did it anyways. Follow your instincts. If you see something, say something. You know, there's a very good likelihood that someone in this room knows who's doing it. There's a very good likelihood, based upon my instincts and my hunches. But here's what you need to remember. Someone knows something, but they don't realize it. Think about that. Every time you have these type of incidents, somebody, oh, I always thought that person was strange. Well, why the hell didn't you say something? So, and I'm not, you know, forgive my sarcasm, because this is no place for sarcasm. But we need people, if you have video and we haven't contacted you, you need to reach out to us. We need you to pay attention to what's going on in your neighbor. Take a look at what's going on. I can't repeat that enough. You know, what we have going on, when Benjamin died, we didn't know what we had. He was just an innocent victim. And then Wednesday night, Monica is murdered, but she's not found for 2 days. And we knew immediately that they were linked when they're that close together. They're 2 people walking alone. And our instinct said, this is related. And we told the neighborhoods what was going on. And then, God forbid, we have a 3rd person in Anthony. And so when I have been telling the media and doing interviews that we need the community's help, that is the truth. When this is all said and done, you're going to look at the Tampa Police Department and you're going to say that they were truthful. They didn't hold back. We're not withholding information. We're worried about public safety. And that's why we're all here tonight. And I know I sound like a broken record. I say the same thing over and over, but that's where we stand. So what we're doing about this is immediately we had ATF. There's a member from ATF here, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, that's here. We have a very good partnership with them. They were immediately involved in this. We consulted with the FBI. This morning, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office joined the investigation. We've reached out to the St. Petersburg Police Department. They'll either be here, if not tonight, they'll be here in the morning. We're not going at this alone. We've engaged every law enforcement agency in the area that can help us. We're engaging the community, and we're in for the long haul. You know, everybody wants to know, is there a serial killer? That's the big question that I get, and I have purposely avoided that because there's a stereotype associated with serial killers. And what do I mean by that? And I'm sure people will cringe, you know, the investigators will cringe that I'm being so forthright with people. But I'm old. I hear serial killer, I think of Ted Bundy. But here's the problem. It may not be a white person. It may not be a male. It could be a black person, maybe a female. How do we know there's not 2 stepbrothers living in a house and they're doing it together? So let's not let labels and stereotypes box our vision in and we miss what's right in front of us. So we're in this for the long haul. I promise you that the Tampa Police Department is engaged. We have not tried to do this on our own. We have asked for help for other agencies. It's not about who gets the credit for the arrest. It's about saving lives. And I appreciate everyone being out here tonight. And I'll be more than willing to answer some questions. I've tried to answer all of them. I don't want to go on for too long tonight because I want to respect the fact that it's a school night. But if there are some questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. Okay, if there's anyone who has any questions, if you could just come down here and line up. And if you don't have any questions, that's fine. Hopefully I've answered a lot of them. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. No, not that I'm aware of. There was a rumor that 2 11-year-olds were killed. That's not true. Okay, thank you. Are we ready here? If we could just get everybody to stop clapping, that way we can just get through this and cut to the chase.
Yeah.
You need to come down here. Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, good evening. It's the mayor called a person or the suspect a son of a bitch. That's what the mayor did. Donald Trump called African athletes a son of a bitch.
Okay, so do you have a question? Because if you don't have a question, just move on. I ain't got time for your nonsense.
Why is the mayor indicting the person's mother?
Okay, that's not productive. I've got family members here. You can leave. So who's next? Rocky, just ignore him. What? Hey, everybody needs to show some class, okay? If you're not here to do something productive, then you can leave.
Well, I have 2 questions. First, because you said there's no specific suspect, so you don't have like I don't know, anything that we could go by like at all, gender regarding, because we have a video online, so I thought that we could have an idea of
Okay, let's discuss the video, if I cut you off there. The video that has been released of the person walking through the neighborhood, we don't know who that person is. We have video that he was out in the neighborhood at the time that Benjamin was murdered. And so that's why we are trying to find out who that person is. They could be completely innocent. We just want to rule them out as being involved in this.
And my other question, is there any way, because I know you're giving out bulbs and all that, which is very helpful, any way that we could have any possibility of installing cameras in our houses with any kind of help?
Yeah, that's something that maybe we can get a third party to be involved in, but we don't have the money to yeah, there's not much we can do about that.
The question I have is, we passed through that neighborhood a couple of nights ago and noticed it was still dark. And it still looked like it had pockets of where activity could happen. And the question is, what is the city doing to increase the visibility in that area at night so that it appears to be a little safer than it looks now?
If anybody has any dark pockets, if you will, where the foliage is overgrown and the tree canopies are blocking the lights. If you can identify that for us, we will get Tico out there to either trim the trees, or if we haven't already enhanced the street lights, to put brighter lights in there. But we just need to know the location, sir. So if you could let Janelle raise your hand. Janelle, or where's Carla? Carla and Murray back there. If you have locations, let us know, and we'll do the best we can to either trim it or light it up even brighter. What's the best way? Go talk to Murray and give us if you have the number on the pole, that's the best way to do it.
And just so you know, we had our officers out there this weekend, and they combed through the neighborhood and got the pole numbers and the locations where there were street lights that were out, and Tico was out there this morning and fixed them all. So they should all be up and functional in the neighborhood, but if they're not, if you let us know, and we'll reach out to Tico.
My question is, the man was walking that we filmed him. We saw him walking. You noticed that person. So why was he not walking? Was he walking to a home? We don't know. If we have the videos set up all the way to the home, we could easily catch people. We could easily see what's happening. An area there with just one little limited area. Why not in the homes? We would be able to see things better from the homes. I hope you can find some way to do that, to protect that. Thank you.
But so I think the question was why there's not more video. It was very limited video that was out there, and there is no more video. And so, you know, short of putting cameras up through the entire neighborhood, we're relying on the families that have cameras up at their homes.
Thank you so much for putting this on. After the third shooting, there was this massive quarantine that was set up, and you all put in a tremendous amount of effort to try to find the killer, unfruitfully. And I saw there was an article, USF criminologist or something, suggesting that it's likely that they may live in the neighborhood or have before. I'm just wondering, because it's impossible to have certainty about these details at this point, how important you think that might be if it is the case, and how probable do you think that is?
Well, I'm not interested in getting into that because, like I said, I don't want to label and stereotype. It could be anybody. And so your guess is as good as mine at that point. And, you know, if we had that type of information, we would share it. You know, I would love to be able to tell you to look out for a white guy or a black girl or whoever. You know, I would love to be able to share that type of information. We don't have it right now. And that's why we're asking people to be so vigilant.
Thank you guys for putting us up here today. I just wanted to ask if you could give us a more detailed time frame as time of day as to when these attacks occurred. Were they all after night? Were they all between midnight and 7? Something to that effect.
It was Benjamin Mitchell was murdered around 9 o'clock 2 weeks ago on Monday night. Monica Hoffa, we had calls of gunshots about 8:45 Wednesday night. She was found Friday morning. That's why we think she was murdered Wednesday night. And it was right around 8 o'clock, a little bit before 8 o'clock, where we found Anthony Nybo.
I just want to say thank you to all the officers for being in the area here. It's really made me personally feel a lot more safe, and I'm sure the rest of the community feels better too. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Fran Tate, and I am the Neighborhood Association President for Jackson Heights. My neighbors, my association, the community over in Jackson Heights, they're pretty anxious about this whole situation. Can you give us some advice to take back to our associations, something that will help relax them and ease their mind a little bit, something I can pass off to my elderly community members?
You know, I wish I could, but I'm sorry. She wanted to know if there was any type of information that she could take back to her neighbors to relieve their anxiety, and my answer is unfortunately I can't. But what I think what might help relieve some anxiety is getting everybody outside, and you know we love the spend time on our Netflix and our smartphones and PlayStation, and nobody comes outside anymore and talks to each other. And that's how people are able to do these type of things in our neighborhood. So what I'm asking is maybe go back and tell them put their porch lights on and pay attention to what's going on outside. I wish I had a better answer.
All right, thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Layla Wilson. I'm here as a representative for State Senator Darrell Roussan, who's in Tallahassee this week. He is sending condolences to the family and would like to know if the police department, the sheriff's department, or anyone involved needs anything from him. Please don't hesitate to give him a call. I have his card with his personal cell phone number on it. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Gail, and I guess I just want to know, because we're seeing 3 murders now, but I want to go back to Dante Lampkins. Has there been anything new with that? Because the MO appears to be the same. Has there been any new information on that?
No,
is this a person that's going to stop and start back and stop and start back?
I can tell you that that murder, poor Dante, that is not related to this. I'm not here to talk about that specifically. We're only here, but they're not related. If they were, I assure you, I would tell you.
I too want to say thanks to all the police efforts to keep us safe, because we see the extra efforts and appreciate it. And my condolences to the families. We keep saying one person, or we think one person, but isn't this kind of what we would see with a gang? They initiate members by having their members randomly just shoot some stranger.
Well, let's talk about that. And everybody has a theory, and everybody else is as good as mine. The reason we haven't ruled out anything. That's why we're here talking about this. But normally, if more than one person gang, somebody talks. And also, this is not a neighborhood that has that type of gang activity. This is a good neighborhood. You know, these were people that came from good families that aren't involved in that type of stuff. So we have not ruled anything out, but that's why we don't think it's that type of situation. But we have never said it's only one person.
Hi, my name is Courtney Baumgartner. I'm a resident of Southeast Seminole Heights. My question, I'm not sure if it's more for the city or the police, goes to vacant houses. We have a bit more probably than the normal neighborhood in ours. I personally don't have any neighbors because the house across the street next to me, and I have a parking lot behind me, there's no neighbors. One, is there anything I can do to get them to turn their porch lights on, or short of contacting the owner and asking them to turn on the electricity or illuminate their house in some way? And then the second goes to surveillance of those houses. I know code enforcement was out earlier today, surveying, seeing if there was anybody like hiding in the houses, I guess. If there's anything, if you guys have like a database or some sort of way of tracking which houses are vacant and where people could be hiding.
Courtney, I don't know that we can tell you which houses are owner occupied but yet vacant. And so we don't have any jurisdiction there. The houses that are vacant and in need of being boarded up, we were out there all day today, and we're going to be out there as long as it takes for those houses that are abandoned or in some state of disrepair to make sure that we board the windows up so that no one can hide in there. And that's what you saw our folks doing today is you know, the only thing I could suggest to you in terms of the houses that are owned but vacant is to go to the property tax records, find out who owns them, and send them a letter. And, you know, say, please put your power on or put your lights on. But the abandoned houses, we're on top of that one. Yep. You bet.
Good evening. My name is John, and I think a lot of us are curious just to know how certain we are that this is from one individual. For example, is there a way to determine if, like, the bullets are linked to a single gun, or is this likely, I mean, is the best scenario that it's one person, or could there really be multiple?
Well, we don't have those answers, and that's why I have stayed true to the line of we don't know if it's one person or not. I heard the other night somebody said there was a new twist that the chief said it might be more than one person. I've never said it was one person, and I can't allow people to focus in and zero in on one suspect, one stereotype, or anything. It could be anybody.
The question I have is about Friday night when the van went into the Robles Park area, which was just south of MLK. Is there any thought about there being some type of connection, going back to what she was saying about possibly some kind of gang initiation or just randomly shooting people? While no one was killed in that incident, there were 4 people injured. So nothing really has been said anymore about that in the news, except that it happened. And I don't know what kind of focus is being placed on that.
Well, the 4 people that were shot the other night have not cooperated, and their families have not cooperated. That's a red flag for me. These 3 people, their families are good people, and they have cooperated. So it's totally unrelated.
Wanted to mention, because I found this myself online. I know that you guys have a registration online where if you have any kind of a camera device, that we can let the cops in the city know who has cameras. And I don't know who all has cameras in this audience, but you know, if people don't know about the registration, there might be footage out there that could be helpful. So I just thought it would be good to mention that.
Yes, I appreciate that. That's called Project Rec, and they had reminded me a few minutes ago to let everybody know about that. You can register your cameras with us. We don't get access to them. We just know you have them, and when there's a problem in your neighborhood, we come knocking on your door and see what you may know. So if you can go online with tampagov.net at the police department and register and let us know, we're going to be going through the neighborhoods, knocking on doors, finding out who has. We've already done that, and we're going to continue to do that to see who lives where and whether they have cameras or not, whether we know about them.
Chief, certainly we thank you and the city for what you're doing. In the next few days, there's a lot of people that will celebrate Halloween. A lot of kids will be out. What is your suggestion for these families as it relates to those children going out?
Yeah, we will have a heavy presence. My suggestion that everybody comes out, and I assure you that I will be out there patrolling the neighborhood on Halloween. I will personally be out there, and everyone at the police department will be engaged.
Actually, that gentleman there just going to ask. So I was going to ask about Halloween. I'm hearing a lot of concern from parents, and they're talking about going to other places. And I really hope you can reassure people to get out there and be in our neighborhood, show them we're not afraid.
No, I get it. And, you know, like I said, this isn't a hurricane where we're hunkering down. We want to do the opposite. Your instinct is to stay inside. I'm asking you to do the exact opposite, and people are doing it. It's just amazing to see the way the neighborhoods are rallying together and coming out and everybody going on the marches. And we need everybody out there Halloween. We got to do it for the kids. I'll be out there myself.
Yeah, my name's Justin. I'm with the Tampa Heights Civic Association. And a lot of the different things that you're doing to help alleviate those dark spaces and unlit areas in the alleys and keeping those clean, those are issues we've reported to the city a lot of times, and we've gone through TICO with the lights that are out on the street. We've been doing this for 2.5 years I've been on the board, and we're not getting, and we have never gotten activity. We've got a lot of shootings we've dealt with down there as well. And I would just say, getting this alley, some of these are systemic issues with lighting and the alley spaces. I've had stuff stolen out of my backyard, so I've closed off my own alley. That process through the city is very cumbersome, and making it easier for people to take control of their own blocks and empowering the neighborhood to do that would be a great step in the right direction and help kind of reduce the amount of areas that this person could be hiding in. So working with the neighborhood associations and not fining people for closing off their alleys to keep the bad pedestrian activity from going on in there is something that I think we should all be thinking about, and talk to your local civic association and try to get their support. Just wanted to throw that out there because
a lot of these are systemic issues with just the way our environment is designed in these neighborhoods.
Well, we were out there today cleaning up the neighborhood, and and I can tell you, and I don't say this because he's the boss, because I could just leave it out. Sometimes when you don't say something, that says more than anything. But I can tell you that the mayor is heavily engaged in this. I talk to him every day about it. He's been out patrolling, and he has everyone in the city engaged in this neighborhood. I think it was very evident this morning when you go out there. You can see people out there in the alleyways and the street lights. And like I said, Tico, they're a totally different entity, and they were out there today. So everybody is engaged right now.
Orlando Goose, retired Tampa police officer. I know these guys are working very hard, but Chief, can you tell maybe the audience some tips of those people who may have to go to work at night, who may have to walk at night, what they can do to be safe?
Well, we're asking everybody to stay out there in groups, not walk alone. Make sure you have your lights on. We have police officers out there in the morning for when the kids are going to school. And we're out there with a heavy presence. We need everyone to stick together and not be out there walking alone.
You mentioned that the victims and their families from the Friday night shooting were not cooperating, I guess, how you would hope. Is there anything being done between the communities and the police force to kind of build the trust with these families and the people that live in the communities, that maybe they're more willing in the future to come forward and talk about stuff that happened?
Yeah, we're always doing that. Unfortunately, there's some people that live a certain lifestyle where they don't want to cooperate with us.
Is there a place that we could go as citizens, like maybe online, and see these things that you're doing? And just, I mean, not that I'm saying that you're lying to me, but just, is there a place that we could see I guess, the efforts being made?
Well, you got to come do a ride along with us and go into that neighborhood and see what's going on, and you'll see firsthand.
Thank you.
So.
We are the families.
Everybody be quiet. This is Anthony's father.
We are the families of one of the victims, Anthony. There's a misconception that my son took the wrong bus. My son took the right bus because that was the only bus that was there, and that was going the wrong way because the hardline implements changes. They close the routes of the bus that weren't going home, that taking home without notice or nothing. So he had to take the bus somewhere else, NetPack. Then he took this bus and get up on 15th Street to take the night bus that taking home. But once again, they closed that route, number 9 bus, without public notice, without letting nobody. And my son was there, and the bus never came because they closed that route because the previous mayor. We don't know that. We waiting for our son, and if we know, we was calling him. We couldn't know. We go pick him up anywhere, or we know that we shouldn't know that bus, wasn't running. So my son being there, the bus 9 never come, and so he decided to walk, maybe while the bus was coming. That night, I went to look for my son. The bus stopped, went 30th Street, 22nd Street, and when I came to 15th Street, I saw the bus stop where my son was supposed to take the transfer for the bus. And that bus stop was so dark that it didn't even look like a bus stop. And then my son had to cross to the neighborhood, trying to walk, get some lining, some place where he could wait for the bus that was never coming. My suggestion is for the hotline that they should put more lining at bus stops, and when they make changes, they should let the public know, like they're doing right now, that 15th Street is closed. They should let people know. So people, they should let people know. So that's my say.
no, not my face, please. With the time change getting ready to come, I have young children, and young children walk to school by themselves. Is there a way to notify parents? You know, that way children don't get it. You know, the ladies that are the crossing guards. Is there somebody making sure that they're safe? They have to be there early in the morning.
Yeah, we have increased our presence in the neighborhood in the mornings, and obviously at night, and I think anybody that's out here during the day, we're doing everything we can to make sure that everybody's safe, especially the kids going to school.
The children that are walking to school, it happened this morning. It's very dark, children walking by themselves. And I think as a parent myself, I would not ever let my children in. Is there a way to making sure that the parents are aware, you know, especially for children?
Yeah, we're doing everything we can to make people aware. That's why we're here tonight, and that's why we've been doing letting everybody know through different news outlets and everything. And I can tell you, it's so difficult as a police department when you look at it's a small neighborhood until you try to figure out every street corner out there, and it's really tough to cover that much. And that's why we're doing all this, to get everybody out there, and that's why we're asking for people to come outside of their homes, because we can't do it alone as a police department.
Everybody know 15th Street in Palo Parks? All right, we be having a honey house out there. We ain't gonna have it this year because the killer out there. But Mrs. Neva right here, that's our grandmama right there. Yeah, but boom. Now if your officers come out and do something for the kids, right, that'd be awesome right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, still, you know what I'm saying, awesome for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Because they come out there and they show out. There'll be a bunch of kids out there. All right.
Okay.
My name is Ingrid Smith, and I'm a Hart pass rider. Oh, okay. I was told that a representative from Hart would be here tonight. Two issues. One is that I understand, due to the funding, they cut a lot of routes. What I don't understand is cutting stops along a route, and especially if that stop was a sheltered stop that had lights. The other night when y'all had the Vigil March, I came up on the tube, arrived late, realized now that walking when everybody else had already left. Didn't realize the intertension until a friend of mine stopped in the middle of Nebraska and said, "Get in the car," and I hopped in. The 9, which is the route along 15, I had made a suggestion to Hart. Every household along that route, it would behoove them to give them in their hands a schedule so that the homeowners who live along there know when to expect to stop. And if they see the bus stop, you want eyes out and people out. Come out on your front porch, have a flashlight, give that person a safe escort home. Because if Hart is not going to have that bus between those zones with the hyperlink to at least have everybody get off who is going to stop between Hillsborough and Martin Luther King, if they're not going to give them door-to-door service, then maybe the residents can at least door-to-door be out there with a flashlight, shine them home. Don't shine on them and make them a target, but at least shine the bushes and the things around them. Hart posted that the 9 was detouring today, so I didn't take it, and it would have been 2 blocks from here. Instead, they said it was detouring 26 on 22nd, and yet I see it going down 15th Avenue. So discrepancy of information regarding the routes, regarding the stops, is putting everybody at risk. And I was told that Hart would be here tonight if they would like to address what extra they're going to do to provide safe passage for people who have to get off in that zone.
Well, what I would ask is we did not put Hart on the agenda because I wanted to strictly focus on the investigations and the information and making the neighborhood safe, but we will pass along those concerns to Hart. My suggestion is that you deal with them directly on that because I'm sorry, God. I don't think I know they're not on the agenda. I don't know if they're, Commissioner Miller?
I'm Commissioner Miller. I'm the chairman of Hart. Get with me after this, okay? All right.
I can speak very loud. My question actually goes back to all the buses. I'm a longtime bus rider, and I know that not just in Seminole Heights and all over Tampa, there are very few lighted and sheltered bus stops. Is there anything that, I know we have the chairman here, I know we have the chairman behind me, I would like to see more lighted bus stops, and at least you don't even have to have the sheltered ones. I know we have the ones that are just the benches that have the lights over them. What can we do to get that?
Yeah, what we're doing as a police department is as we're sifting through this investigation, the more information we find with issues like that, we're going to pass along the Hart and try and help them make this a better situation.
Oh, can you hear me now? Okay. So this is more of something that you brought up with if you see something, say something. One of the more important tools that have been brought up in our neighborhood watch meetings is the TPD app. That is a very useful tool that we have. You can download the app on Google Play, on the Google Play or the Apple Store. You can download it, put it on your phone, and the great thing is it's discreet. So if you see something suspicious and you don't want to make it look like you're just grabbing your phone and calling them out right then and there, you can actually submit a tip via the TPD app. You can submit a photo as well. And TPD's been really good about monitoring that and getting back to us if anything happens. So keep that in mind that if you want to be discreet, you can always use the app as well. That's it.
Okay, if this will be our last one. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Benjamin's aunt. I just want to say thank you to everybody here that has gave us your blessings and everything, and for what you're doing. And to those that stood up tonight, this is not a forum for jokes. Each one of y'all are going home with your family. My nephew was taken at a very young age, and I would never see him grow into a man that he should have been. And you're taking it as a joke tonight to put things out there that makes no sense, that has nothing to do with what's going on. It is families torn apart because of what this man did to us, or whomever it is did to us. We would never go home with him. I would never see him walk around their corner again. I would never joke with him again. These families will never see their children grow up to have potential. And next time you stand here, you want to make a joke or say something, think of that family that we living with this pain and this hurt. This is not the place for it.
Well, I can promise you this, from this city administration and this police department, this is no joke. This is serious stuff, and we intend to be here until we catch this person or persons who did this. Let me close out with this. First of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for being here for these families. Thank you for being here for this community and being here for your neighbors and your neighborhood. We've got to stick together. That's the only way we're going to solve this crime, is if we stick together. We're not going to let them divide us. We're going to get stronger. We're going to get more powerful. Our voices are going to get louder, and we're going to run these folks who would commit these crimes out of our neighborhoods and out of our city. Period. And would you join me in a round of applause for the men and women who have been out there for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is their fight too. And when you see one of those officers out on the street, make sure when they stop, tell them thank you. Say a prayer for them, but tell them thank you. Now I'm going to close this out with a word of prayer. He didn't know I was going to call him up, but I know he's always ready, and he's going to send us out with a covering to pray for this community, to pray for these families, and to pray for Southeast Seminole Heights. Pastor.
Let us pray. I ask that you would join hands to your neighbor who's standing beside you. O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is your name. Oh God, we come with this request for not only this neighborhood, but for this city, that, oh God, that you would cover us now. Lord, I ask that you would bring a sense of unity, love, respect. And I ask, oh God, that this person or persons who are portraying these murders and doing these awful things, oh God, that they would turn themselves in and come to realize that evil is all around us. We ask you now, God, these families that have lost loved ones, that you would place a hedge of protection around them. Station your angels of mercies wherever they may go. And in the days to come, oh God, that you will provide for them those things that they stand in the need of. And as we depart this place, oh God, we ask that you would protect our law enforcement, those citizens who will be in homeowners associations. Oh God, that everyone will be vigilant. And I know, oh God, that all things are working together for the good. Those that love God, those that are called according to your purpose. Bless this city now, God. We need a blessing. We need answers. We need closure. And this we ask in your son Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Thank you.